everyone, and welcome. And Dave, thank you very much for introduction. My name is Lena Thompson, and you've got a pleasure of my company for the next half an hour or so. But before I'm going to start, I wanted to say, do stay until the end, obviously, if you can. I've put together like a checklist, which I'll explain more what it is, and I would love to share it with all of you afterwards. So let's get started, and let's talk about how we can achieve this optimal health through energy and vibration. But actually, before we're going to start it, I want to introduce myself just a little bit and explain why I'm even here talking to you. Now, my background is in computer science. I was actually born in Russia, and I grew up in Israel and South Africa, and I've moved to UK in 2004 as a computer analyst. And I worked as a consultant in many different countries and various industries. But as I was, always really interested in mind and body connection and health and wellness, while looking for meaning and purpose in my life, I've also decided to qualify as a Reiki and NLP practitioner. Well, now I believe that there is a right time for everything, and back then it wasn't the right time for me. So I put it aside after graduating, after getting my diplomas, and I decided to start running obsessively. I've completed multiple marathons, ultra marathons. I've traveled as far as South Africa to participate in various events. But that search for meaning only intensified as I had no idea where I was going and who I was even being. The big change really in my life happened in 2018 when I came across works by Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton and Craig Braden. And when I attended Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop in Brighton 2018, I kind of realized I needed to make some changes in my life, both personal and also professional. So the first change happened when I started my first company last year, as I walked away from a six-figure job. And this is actually a franchise that originated in New Zealand, and it came to UK about 6 years ago, and it's called Driving Miss Daisy. We provide companionship and transport services to people who can't get out and about. And a lot of our clients are physically, mentally, emotionally unwell, sometimes all three together. So I wanted to help them to find a more holistic and more natural approach to life. And that's how my second company was born. But before I talk about my second company and the frequencies and energies, I just really wanted to talk about the different elements of health, because so many times when I speak to my colleagues and I speak even to doctors, and I've been doing a lot of speaking to medical practitioners and friends and family, and when I say to them, what does health mean to you? They all say nutrition, exercise, some maybe say mindset, but that's about it really. Not many mention environment. And health is not just one thing, it's balancing all aspects of it. So for me personally, when I was running obsessively, I pushed my body to extremes. I mean, I remember actually waking up one morning and I had scheduled 26-mile run that morning. And I looked outside the window and it was sleet and snow and ice, and it was just freezing. So I put my little backpack with salt water and I took some gels and I set off for a 3-hour run. Within 5 minutes, my bow shoes were soaking wet. So, I was obsessed with it. Was it good for me? No, I was permanently injured, and I was in and out of hospitals with, the doctors were scanning my brain. They were scanning my bones because my body went into shutdown and they couldn't understand what was wrong with me. And nutrition, I was just obsessing about it. I was counting calories in, calories out, doing all sorts of diets. And what I realized now is that I was so dominant in those areas. I was training my physical muscles so hard that I've completely neglected to train the spiritual side of me, not to mention the environment. I remember my son was small, and I would put his baby plastic bottles into the microwave, and I would sleep with the phone next to my head. So I was completely out of balance. And while it's important to actually, while a lot of us sometimes think that mind and body are two separate things, but our bodies need a strong mind, and our minds need strong bodies to function properly. We actually have 50 trillion cells in our bodies. And when our bodies are in harmony, when our cells are in harmony, our bodies are at ease. And when they are not in harmony, our bodies are at disease. So when the cell encounters a nutrient or something positive from an environment, like a positive stimuli, it actually produces an activation gene. And when it gets toxins from the environment or some negative stimuli, it creates an activation, a protection gene. So what happens when protection gene is activated, it actually puts us in a fight and flight mode, which means that the blood is withdrawn from all the vital organs and our immune system is weakened. So now also the industrial particles, they have pretty much deeply polluted our environment, our water, the air, soil, and the climate change. But there is also a mass of electromagnetic pollution. And electromagnetic pollution happens from two sources. One is the natural, such as sunlight, the lightning, and another one is man-made. And that comes from the 4G, 3G, 5G, 2G, wireless, the wiring, cell phones, laptops. I think you see where I'm going with this. There was actually a study done in Kenya in 2011 that took a beehive and they split it up into two beehives. And the B1, the first beehive, they put a mobile phone, cell phone, just for 10 minutes a day. After 3 minutes, the bees from the first hive, the one that had a cell phone, they never came back. Actually, they left day one. They never came back even after the first day. And the queen bee, the queen from the first hive, normally she would lay between 350 eggs. And after the exposure to cell phone, she was only laying 100 eggs. And that's just after 3 days, 10 minutes a day. So what happens when there's 5G transmitters are coming out, the bees are simply dying or they're leaving and they're not returning. And also the damage that it causes to our brains, to our human health, is a lot more significant than that. And today it's not even enough to hold a phone to our head. We actually strap it on our bodies physically. We carry it in our pockets, and just the other day I saw a lady like pulling it out of her shirt. So we swim through that sea of electromagnetic radiation, being constantly bombarded with those external stresses, and it's just not an environment where our bodies are meant to live and thrive. The World Health Organization, they actually classify the exposure to wireless radiation as human carcinogen, and also they linked it to increased brain tumors, and the risks are highest for those who use the mobile phones under the age of 20. There was also multiple studies done how it impacts our brain activity, and it's especially in teenagers who only use a mobile phone for 1 year. And what's also important is that the babies, they absorb so much more than us because the skull, the tissue in the head is a lot thinner than ours. So wireless radiation, even at the lows, has been shown to change our brain activity. And what is the other side effect? Well, since the lockdown started, I've started attending some networking meetings, and so many people were complaining about dizziness and headaches and irritability, insomnia, and the list went on and on. And because I work with the products which are loaded with energies and frequencies, they would ask me whether I have an immunity for them, something to have with the immune system, or help them with sleep. And while we do actually have this product, I felt like we were not getting to the cause of the problem, of the issue. We actually had a doctor, Dr. Stan Lang. He's a physician, and he did a great talk the other day, linking the exposure to electromagnetic radiation and the effect it has on our gut health. Now, when our guts are not healthy, it actually affects our immune system, which also in return will affect our metabolism. So some clients that I had, they actually started gaining weight without even the diet being changed, simply because of the exposure to electromagnetic radiation. And there's much more. There's depression, fatigue, ADHD in children. There's a massive list, and there's so much extra information on Google that, it's possible to go and find that all out. What are the side effects? Dr. Mercola, he's one of the greatest scientists, and he actually talks a lot about it. In fact, he compares the marketing, the PR that's mobile phone companies are using is very similar to the tobacco industry in 1920, when we were told, go have a cigarette, it's really good for you. So what are the other EMF emitting devices? We already talked about phones extensively. TV, especially if it's a smart TV and it's connected to internet. Microwaves, baby monitors is a big one. And I know I've got friends with little kids, with little babies, and for some reason they always put it next to the crib, next to the head. So if you do have someone, you know, using the wireless baby monitor, please get them the one that you can plug into the wall. The switches, the wirings, microwave, hair dryers, hoovers, everything pretty much. And it's fine to, you know, I mean, like what the scientists are saying is that exposure to this non-ionized radiation is not really damaging to our health in small quantities, but the small quantities is like talking on a phone for maybe 30 minutes a day, that's it. But we spend our life now on our phones and our laptops, so we absorb much more than just small quantities. So what can we do to create this healthy and safe environment? Well, this is one extreme. Obviously, you know, we're not going to do that. We do need our laptop and the gadgets and phones. We love them. We can't live without them. But there's just some sensible things, you know. We can just turn them off when we don't need it. And I know some people are a lot more sensitive to it than others. So just turning it off when you go to sleep, and even turning your Wi-Fi off. Don't carry it on your body. Put it in a bag or like in a pouch somewhere. Do the research. As I said, there's a lot of information on the internet, and I know some people painting their houses or their bedrooms in EMF paint. I don't know. I mean, it might be a bit of extreme, but you know, as long as it works for them, that's great. But the problem is, you can't take a house with you when you travel. So sometimes you still need to go on an airplane. You need to travel. You need to go to work, and so it might be not very practical. There are also other ways to protect ourselves, and this is something that I'm using for myself and for my clients. And before I actually talk further about it, what I want to do is I want you to watch this 5-minute video about a product called EMF Shield. And this EMF Shield is actually featured on Australian news earlier this year. So guys, I'm going to pause, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to share the YouTube, because for some reason, the PowerPoint video just stops halfway through. So just bear with me a sec when I stop sharing this. And I'm going to share this again. Hold on one sec. And share screen. And basic. Okay, can everyone see it? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
okay.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the program. Well, we live in a high-tech world, and the signals that are around us while out of sight might be messing with our minds. While the mobile phone debate surrounding their effect on our health continues to rage, companies are coming up with all sorts of devices and gadgets to combat the ill effects, if there are any. A phone micro shield promising protection has now arrived in Adelaide, so we put it to the test.
Our energy isn't designed to be bombarded with all this electromagnetic radiation every day.
If we could feel the electromagnetic field around us, would be quite frightening.
We're surrounded in signals.
I think it's the root cause of a lot of cancers.
3G, 4G, now 5G is coming to a suburb near you.
It is a big health issue, and it's only going to get worse.
The big telcos will tell you there's nothing to see here.
It's a bit like the cigarette companies saying that tobacco wasn't a problem.
Electromagnetic radiation is what mobile phones emit. The question is it in harmful doses?
I've seen enough patients already with sickness from mobile phone use.
Adelaide health professionals like naturopath Dr. Jeffrey Bryant and Deborah Regari from the House of Healing say it's downright dangerous.
Many in the scientific field today are very concerned as well.
I had a woman came in here once with a 3-week-old baby in a pram with a mobile phone right next to this baby's head playing at music.
But now a tiny wafer-thin shield is being touted as a potential protector of our brain. And when we road tested it, the result was jaw-dropping. Wow. We'll return to that soon, but Tony Mark Seymour, the man who introduced it to Adelaide from the US, reckons he was initially sceptical.
But most of these devices don't work, and in fact, some of them can have a negative effect.
The EMF shield uses so-called quantum physics to assist the body to counterbalance these negative signals from phones. But do we really need to be shielded? Well, the only large study into a link between mobile phones and brain cancer was funded by the mobile phone companies.
But even that study hinted at a relationship between high usage of mobile phones, more than half an hour a day, and brain cancer.
Neurosurgeon Dr. Charlie Teo says his patient records turn up some chilling coincidences, like a man who used his company mobile constantly.
He died of brain cancer. All 4 partners in the company died of brain cancer, and then his wife rang us up 2 years after he died to say that the secretary, who was also on the mobile phone, died of brain cancer.
Telstra pointed us towards the World Health Organisation's ruling on the matter.
To date, no adverse health effects have been established as being caused by mobile phone use.
But delving deeper, WHO has classified radio frequency electromagnetic fields as emitted by mobile phones as possibly carcinogenic to humans based on an increased risk of glioma, a malignant type of brain cancer.
So I do know that if you're exposed enough to EMR, you will get brain cancer and you'll die from it.
Now the test. I spent 10 minutes with my mobile phone against my ear, had a thermal image snapped, and the result floored me and my crew. Not only hot, but white hot in the ears region. The EMF shield was then attached to the back of the phone, another 10 minutes on it. This time the image snapped was cool.
So I'd love to see more detailed investigation as to how it works, what it actually does to the radio signals, so that we can actually understand, the effect that you saw in the thermal imaging that you did.
Computer systems engineer Dr. Paul Gardner-Stephen from Flinders Uni says while it's possible to shield phones from radiation, he's not sure there's a risk.
In that regard, I would say that the jury, I think, is still out, at least from what I've read.
The more people that are exposed to this technology and these devices, the better.
And details on the shield are on our website, and we contacted the TGA to get their thoughts on the device. Their statement is also on our website.
Okay. I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Let me just do this and share.
We come together tonight to imagine a future determined by the shining light of our hopes.
That's not what we're supposed to see. Hold on. There we go. And next one. Right. Okay, can you guys see my screen again? Oh, come on.
Yes.
I don't know it's playing anymore. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't want this. I want this. From current slide. Right. You guys can see it, right?
Yes.
And hopefully it's going to stop playing. Right. So hopefully it gave you a little bit more information about this shield, about what EMF shield is. And like they already said in this video, is that it doesn't just block the signal, because if it blocks it, it will interfere with all the other devices. What it actually does, it filters out the negative frequencies of electromagnetic radiation that harmonizes and neutralizes the harmful effect that it has on our bodies. And what actually happens is that we all obviously vibrate at a certain frequency, as you know. Our humans, we have a certain frequency, and actually vibration is quite coherent. The electromagnetic fields, they have their own vibration, and that's very incoherent. So it's the clash between those two that causes the damage and the damage actually happens to our tissues on a cellular level. And they look like this in real life, just in practice. You just put them to the back of the phone, on the laptop, and all the other gadgets. And as I said, I've created a EMF checklist, which I will share with you after the presentation. They last a year, but even we've got some doctors who've been using them for the last 7 years, and they're muscle tested regularly. And I know one doctor, she's had it for 7 years, and she said it's just as effective. So I've got actually a client that, I thought it was here. I've got a client that who used this, who I met him a few months ago, and he's like a super healthy guy. He takes this high quality supplements, only organic food, he exercises, meditates, but he could not sleep. And he was already aware of the issue of EMF. And just within a couple of days of getting the EMF shield, he just said his sleep has improved considerably. Another client we have, he's actually in America, and he had a brain tumor operation in 2019. Coincidentally, he was diagnosed after the 5G transmitter was put up outside his house. And after even the operation, he would get really dizzy and bad headaches. He thought that the tumor returned. So when he went to the doctor just gave him drugs and said, well, go home, you know, just take drugs. In the meantime, he came across EMF shield, and he said within hours, he felt different, within hours. So that's how powerful these little things are. So another product I also wanted to talk about is the earthing card. I mean, I think many people already realize the benefits of grounding or earthing, just walking barefoot, which is just so great because we can then recharge our bodies by absorbing the electron from the earth. But I don't know about you, I live outside of London. I don't really walk outside much, and if I do, it's always rubber shoes, so I don't really get that, you know, exposure to Earth's electromagnetic field. I know there's earthing mats that are quite popular, and, you know, I've spoken to a lot of people who already have it, but they are yay big. So when you travel, you know, it's probably not very comfy. One of the best, I think, information I received about earthing is on Netflix. There's a movie called The Earthing Movie. It's really worth checking out. Absolutely brilliant. And what we have is the earthing card. So this earthing card further protects us from electromagnetic radiation, and not just when we have it on us, like with a shield when you've got it on a device. This actually protects the area of 3 meter. You need to do conversion. I don't do any other meters to miles only, radius. So 3 meter radius if you convert it to your decimals. Also, you know, because when I was my client who had a struggle with sleep, he actually said that he was switching off his router at night and phone, but what happened is both his neighbors, they had a Wi-Fi boosters, and that was affecting his and his wife's sleep. So this will definitely help with that. What the earthing card also does, and that is absolutely brilliant, is that it's a pain relief. So for me, for example, when I work too much or my kids stress me out, I get a tension headache, and I just literally put it there and I lean against it, and it takes me maybe 5 minutes until all tension is gone. We have clients with chronic diseases such as Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, and fibromyalgia is something that the mainstream medicine, they don't have cure for it. They just give you drugs and tell you to go home and live with it for the rest of your life. So my client, she's a brain cognitive specialist, very well-educated lady, and she sees a lot of clients, and sometimes she has to cancel appointments because she just feels so drained. She's got chronic fatigue, and she also gets flare-ups, which are really painful. Not even a week later, she rang me and she said she hasn't had such high levels of energy in years, and it's been 5 months now, but she hasn't had a single flare-up. So she just puts it in her bra, and she always carries it on her body. I use it mostly downstairs, just for protection, you know, against radiation. I use it on my daughter when she gets stomach cramps. I just put it under the sheet. You can also energize water. So you can just put it on top of your water glass, and it will remove all of the impurities and negative frequencies from water. It changes the molecular structure of food and water. I actually use it on my wine, which is amazing. Someone gives me wine I don't like, red wine, it has to be full-bodied. If I don't like it, I just leave it on a glass or wave over it for 30 seconds, and the flavor of the wine, it enhances it. A great taste to do also with lemons. And I just was, you know, I was in Ukraine seeing my family recently, and it just blew their minds how could the same lemon taste so different? It's, you know, it's multi-use really, and you can just have one card in the entire household. You don't need to have 10 or 15 of them, unless of course you're a medical practitioner, like one of our dentists that we work with. He's got about 30 EMF shields all over his practice, on the CT scans, on X-ray machines, on the laptop, wireless printers everywhere, and about 7 to 8 these, because that's what he gives to his clients to help them with pain relief. So, I mean, I realized that, you know, I don't want to kind of bombard you with information. So there's just a couple of more products I wanted to show you because they've got quite a big range. So there's just 2 more that I wanted to go through because I just know how effective they've been. And in fact, this relief patch, that's what got me started with this product. Because relief patch, it's a little hologram, it's a little sticker that is infused or programmed with energies and frequencies. It has 100 different frequencies programmed to it, and also energy and frequency extracted from 6 different essential oils. It's been absolutely amazing for anyone struggling with arthritis. So my uncle has a chronic arthritis of 20 years. For him, shower is even a struggle. So he can't even do this move, or it's really painful. 1 night with that patch. The next day he went to shower, he was shocked how mobile his arm was. And I mean, I can give, you know, so many examples here when people in chronic pain, no drugs, nothing helps them. Within just, you know, 2 or 3 applications, they're pain-free. And this is something, you know, you just stick on and you use it for 3 days. You can shower with the patches, and then you just reapply until pain is gone. So the other one is a nitro patch, but I will skip through this one because right at the end I want to show you a visual, and then I will refer you back to the nitro patch so you can understand the difference it made to one of my clients' lives. We also then have a sleep patch and burner's patch. It's infused with energies and frequencies of CLA, green tea, pomegranate oil. It helps with detox and energy and also cravings. I don't know how it does it, but somehow it makes you not want to reach out for food that isn't good for you. For me, it was peanut butter. I mean, I know it's good for you in moderation, but I was going to like jar every 3 days, which was a bit too much. I have a client who's a chocolate addict, and now it's been 4 weeks, and she says she hasn't even had a single piece of chocolate. She just doesn't want it. So it also helps with detoxification. And very similar, you use the 3 of them, 3 patches just around the belly area, and you change every 3 days. We also have products for pets. We've got a CBD pet tag, and that energizes pets. It reduces any discomfort, or if they're in pain, it really helps them. And it's just, you know, just wear it around the collar, and also just change it every 2 to 3 days. And the last one, which is one of our also our award-winning products, and I was told that apparently all Americans know what Golden Edison Award is. It's like an award for the latest innovations in the country. So they won it last year, and they were, you know, up against Tesla, Sony, some other big names. So the Food Freshener card, actually got one in my fruit bowl, looks like this, and you can just have one in the fridge, it's enough. And it extends the lifespan of food, vegetables, fruits by up to 50%. So if you're someone who loves getting organic food, this would be amazing, because obviously organic food goes off a lot quicker. So you can actually save quite a bit of money in the long run. So this is what I wanted to show you when I was talking about the nitro patch. We have this client, and that's actually her mother. Her mother is living in an old age home, and she's got Alzheimer's. As you can see, you know, she wasn't really very much engaged in life. And I know she also said her mom got quite aggressive. She would refuse to eat, refuse to get dressed, like no memory, wasn't recognizing anyone. So her daughter put nitro patches on her. A nitro patch is programmed with energy and frequency of nitric oxide. And what nitric oxide does, it opens up our blood vessels and arteries, so it pumps more oxygen and blood into your heart. So then your whole body starts that self-healing process. And it's very effective for anyone with memory issues, cardiovascular issues, blood clots, circulation, thyroid, or just for overall health and wellness. Now look at this picture. And this is her mom a week or 2 later, I can't remember exactly. She began to feed herself again. She could use knife and fork. She was remembering things. She was holding things. I mean, this lady got her mom back. And on this slide, I just wanted to see before and after. So, I mean, that's quite a striking contrast. That's a big difference. There's 2 little patches due to this lady. And this is another experiment. I wanted to show you what I did with a food freshener card. So that was a 10-day experiment, and this is my bananas without a card and with a card. So this, I still ate them. I kind of like them a bit bruised, but these, they were all black and rotten inside. So just wanted to show you a couple of testimonials, but just to show you that I'm not making all of this up. This is a great client of mine. He's a biologist and scientist. He's the guy actually struggled with sleep, and he realized it was all EMF related. And he says that EMF shield and earthing card has really helped him to cope with sleep, with energy, and the food freshness card, also keeping his food and you know, vegetables and fruits fresh longer. And his wife, she used the nitro patch, which I just spoke about, on her sprained ankle. It also helped her with the pain. So, I mean, he's been a long customer of mine. And a couple of other, you know, just testimonials. She saw this lady, she was in cancer remission when she found me on Facebook. And she said to me, I'm in so much pain. I meditate. I eat super healthy. I cook fresh. I've got my guru. I chant. I use pain relief, pain drugs. Nothing is helping me. Can we just try something? So we used the relief patch and nitro patches on her. And about 2 weeks later, I was relieved. So she was the longest who took, you know, such a long time to really get full benefits of relief. But 2 weeks later, she was pain-free. And again, she's the brain cognitive specialist I've mentioned. She's the lady with fibromyalgia and many other injuries that she's had. And also, you know, she's been recommending them to her clients for the last 4 or 5 months. So here's the company behind it. It's a father and son-led company. They're based in Massachusetts. And there's actually another son who doesn't feature here. He's the mastermind behind all the products. He's a scientist. He designs all the products. He manufactured them with a small team in a laboratory. And every product is actually patented. So we've got at least 2 patents attached to every single product. So here's just some of the awards and the media channels that they featured on through the years. They have been actually manufacturing those for the last 7 years, and only exclusively to medical professionals up until February this year, when they kind of launched the products worldwide. So here are some of the benefits. You know, I mean, CBD patches is for stress relief, for anxiety, for also any discomfort. We already mentioned many benefits of relief for the muscle complaints or with arthritis. They all give more energy. We've got weight management, improved sleep, immunity boosters, EMF, and 5G protection. So who can benefit from them? Well, everybody really, you know, whether it's just using for yourself, using EMF shields to protect your precious brain. For children, I use it on my kids. My son is in high school, so he plays sports, and if he pulls a shoulder, I just stick a relief patch on him. If he comes snotty downstairs and I don't want to see any snot at this time of, you know, of our lives, I just stick immunity patch and it clears out within hours. My daughter used earthing cards. She went through a spell. She's only 6 when she's, I don't know, whatever she's at school, and she gets stomach cramps. And within minutes, she's asleep, pain-free. And it's obviously for foodies, you know, with the food freshener cards and earthing cards to energize the water, remove impurities. And as always, there are also business opportunities to grow the business or create something on the side. So that's me. You can find me on LinkedIn, you can email me, but obviously Des also knows where to find me. So, you know, if you guys have any questions at all, obviously, I'm hoping we're going to have some time for Q&A now. But yeah, please get in touch for any questions that you may have. I hope you find this all right, informative, and you're still awake. As far as I'm checking, everyone is awake, which is great. But thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Lena. Does anyone have a question for her while she's still here live? You can always reach out to her at thompson.lena@gmail.com. I put that in the chat. naturesfrequencies.com. EMF-radiant if you want to look at the products. I am new to the products. I've been using them. I love them, but she is the expert. So if you have questions, please go to her. Anyone have any questions right now?
Lena, this is Jackson. I was wondering, is the earthing cards just as effective as like the earthing mats and like that you can purchase and plug into the wall?
Hi, Jackson. Yeah, so the earthing card, I mean, I've never used earthing mats, so I can't comment. I've got clients who have both because, you know, they'll have an earthing card lying or touching them and they put the seeds on an earthing mat. The earthing card, you just carry it in your wallet, in your pocket, somewhere close to your body. It really depends what you're using it for. So if you've got some health conditions, I would suggest keep it as close to your body. I also don't know about the earthing mat, where they protect you from EMF, radiation. This one does. It filters out all the negative, harmful frequencies of EMF. And it's just very simple to use. You know, you also, as I said, you can use it on your food. The water changes the flavor of water, it becomes so much more pure, and you can taste the difference. I don't know if you'll use earthing mats for that. So they are complementary to each other, you know, but this, I think this is maybe a bit more practical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
I'll just speak for myself. I have earthing mattress pads. I also have an earthing that I sit on, and I have noticed a difference between having the earthing card. And of course I travel a lot and I move around a lot, so it's nice, like she said, for convenience. The biggest difference I've noticed is the EMF shields. I have them on my phone and everyone else's phone and all the computers and the routers and all that now. I've really seen a difference with my 11-year-old son. So these are, it's like you don't have to wait to feel the effect. The effect happens right away.
Right, yeah, and someone's actually asking, Heather's asking, would you suggest getting both EMF shields and earthing cards? Definitely both. So because, you know, when you talk on a phone, you're on a phone, so you need to protect the actual heat and actual exposure because that sends the signal into your ear, into your brain. Same as with the laptop, you know, ideally, I know when I speak to owners, and they have a lot of experience, they work with doctors for the last 7 years. So Rick, he's the owner of the company, he's got about 3 EMF shields on his laptop. He also got some on TV if you've got wireless printers. So you put EMF shields on all of the gadgets, and the earthing card, it's just a general exposure. Also when you fly, when you can finally fly, this is amazing. I just went to Ukraine a few weeks ago with the kids, and I was on an airplane and thinking, I'm saving humanity, because it's not just me, it's, you know, it's everybody really on the airplane was benefiting from these frequencies. So there was also a question, will that work in Europe? Yes, I am in Europe, it works.
I think she means, will the link work? Because I was giving her the name. So you can do naturesfrequencies.com/radiant. If that doesn't work, you can use Lena's, you know, link. Of course, she's in the UK, so yes.
No, the link will work and the product will work. Everything should work.
And they're also, didn't you say, Lena, they're made in the USA?
Say again?
Are the products made in the USA?
Yes, in Massachusetts, yeah.
Yeah, so Erica's saying, you know, what's the one thing I should get if I get one thing and I have 6 people in the household?
EMF shield.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you probably need, just look at the gadgets, you know, but I mean, I would say at least 6, even if you're a single person, because you'll want 2 on a laptop, 1 on a phone, 1 a booster, in a microwave, TV, so that's already 6. I mean, I've got about 15 probably in the house, and I'm just ordering some more to stick them on. And it makes massive difference. Look, I mean, I'm not a medical practitioner, so when I want to taste something, I just do it the old traditional way. And I know before I could only speak, well, actually I couldn't speak on the phone at all. I would literally get nauseous. And a few months ago, just after I got a friend of mine, she's 93, she rang me in a shopping center. I spoke to her for 40 minutes, and my head was completely clear. So that's how I knew it worked for me. So yeah, one thing only, EMF shield, definitely.
So this is David. This is kind of a question like out of on like a little bit of a different topic, but you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza. Yeah, and I'm like I'm a huge fan, student, follower of Joe Dispenza's work, and it's been extremely transformative for me. And my favorite book of his was The Placebo. You Are the Placebo, and the power, like, which is really just saying that how incredibly powerful the human body is, and how powerful the field is, and intention, and this, I know he talks about you know, the heart coherent field, the 9 meter or the 3 meter field that our heart can emit when it's highly coherent. And I with your experience, like having been to his events and your work and all of your experience, like, can you speak to like the power of like the human body in like perhaps being a little immune to some of these fields itself, and like, is there any way we can develop those capacities to like be immune from these harmful fields and these harmful radiations, and like how like the cards like fit into like contributing to that immunity or that resistance?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. You know, if you've got a card and you keep on thinking, I'm going to get the coronavirus and I'm going to get killed by EMF and the 5G coming out and it's going to kill me, I mean, nothing will help you, because our thoughts create our realities. They're so powerful. It's our beliefs really and our thoughts that control our health as well as environment. And that's why when I showed in the beginning, it's 4 pieces in the flower that all need to be in balance. And actually what got me started on this whole journey was Dr. Joe Dispenza, because when I attended his workshops, I have seen what energy can do. I've been to the workshop where we do a healing in a cage. So they put 8 people around the body and the healer lying on the floor. And within minutes, this person's only head and the toes touch the ground and the rest of the body is off the floor with just that energy goes through him. And then they recovered. You know, we get people coming with Parkinson, with cancer stage 4, with arthritis, with so many different diseases, not all of them, of course, but it's amazing to see after 2-3 days, they are dancing on a dance floor with the rest of us, not in the wheelchairs anymore. But that's because they believe it's power of the mind, and of course they can connect to a higher frequency. So this will only help them. So I mean, placebo effect is very, very, you know, very strong. But I think when you've got more tools like this to help you to balance your life, and remember, when your body is bombarded by all of these external stressors, you're kind of in the smog of radiation, so you may even find it harder to increase your energy, to increase yourself to higher vibration. So it will only complement, it will only assist you to get to this, I guess, natural state of well-being. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, great question, Gus. I have a question too. So in the US here, during the pandemic, we've had a lot of installations of 5G. So I have a lot of clients and a lot of coaches, peers who are saying they're feeling dizzy, they're feeling like, you know, just out of sorts. And I'm just wondering what your opinion is could that be correlated to 5G installations?
Yes, 100% yes. And because I just spoke to, I mean, I had 4 clients from US who had the same issues. And yeah, because of the 5G, actually 2 of the clients that I spoke to, they moved out of the house because they were getting so affected by it that they couldn't handle it. So I would, you know, I would definitely suggest advising them on protection, on something they can do. The thing is with the phones, you know, if there wasn't a 5G coming out and they were feeling that way, I'll say, well, maybe try shutting the Wi-Fi off at night and the phones and that, but with the transmitters, you can't really shut them out. So getting an earthing card would help with that, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think unplugging things, you know, for us here in the US, the schools are having the 5G installations right now. And it's hard. Can you explain to the group, because a lot of people don't understand, like how could a frequency be infused inside of a card or a lenticular, like this is a hard concept for people. Like how do they put the frequency into the material?
I don't know. I'm not a quantum scientist, and that's what they do.
I love how
they do it, I
Cliff
don't
said,
know.
So-called quantum physics in that news
I
clip.
wish I was that smart, believe me, I wish, but maybe one day. You never know what the future holds. I don't know. I know they found a way. I know they found a way of extracting energy and frequency from nature. I know that much. How to do it, how they load it, I don't know. I'm going to try and manifest myself a trip to the laboratory and see it, and then I can share it with you.
Yeah, I wish Nikola Tesla was here and we could ask him.
Yeah.
Anyone else have questions for Lena?
Me. I do. Using all the products that you just mentioned, does it have any side effects or any weird things that might be happening after using it? I mean, I know that you're gonna get better, but sometimes there are some products that you use at a certain time, and then after you stop using it, you develop an illness, or I don't know, any side effects that you might be aware of?
It's a great question. And the thing is, there's nothing on this product, okay? It's just energies and frequencies. So your body will only absorb the energy and frequency it needs in the amount it needs when it needs them. So you can't overdose on it. Sometimes what does happen with clients who are really sensitive, and people are sensitive to creams, they're sensitive to perfumes, to everything, is that especially with immunity patches or like nitro, because this is something I would always recommend, get a month of supply, get a pack and use the pack. So if you just say, put them here, and every 3 days you put them on exactly the same spot, this part of your body is just not going to get enough oxygen. So you get a little bit of a rash, which is fine. All you've got to do is just take it off and just move a millimeter up or down. That's the worst case I have ever seen. If people are, I think, when we had a company called the owner, Rick, he mentioned he had one client only. He was super sensitive. So what he did, he actually put it on a collar of his shirt. So he put a hologram on a collar of his shirt, immunity, I think, and relief. And that was just as effective. But no, there's no side effect apart from that.
Another question I had early on when I started using them was, do they go away? Do they have an expiration? And that's one of the amazing things, is this is not something you have to keep purchasing.
Yeah, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I've been meaning to find that out, but I definitely know they are fine. Once you open a pack, you can use it for a year. But I do need to confirm it's a year or longer, but minimum a year. And as I mentioned, with the earthing card, it's 3 years. With the food freshener card, it lasts a year, and EMF shield also lasts a year. But you can always muscle test it or test it. It's really easy to test with this card, and it's easy to test with the food freshness card if it still values up to 3 years.
Yeah, my son and I are doing homeschooling projects with the food freshness card. It's pretty amazing. Because my husband was like, I don't think this works. And I was like, let's show you.
Yeah, no, it does work. The bananas really made such a difference. I wanted to do it with strawberries, but they just don't last in this house. The kids just hoover them all up. But bananas was a great taste for me.
Any other questions? Lena is very generous. If you reach out to her through email and such and social media, and she's in the Radiant Coaches Facebook group, so she's always very willing to answer questions on Facebook Messenger and all that. So if you have a question later, feel free to ask then, and reach out to me if you need to get a hold of her for any reason. Any other questions before we wrap up? We good?
Yeah, guys, you're just welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I think, yeah, I don't know if you shared the link, but you can just Google me. Link me, Thompson Lena Thompson. And if you've got any questions, just type them in, send me email. I'll be more than happy to respond to everyone.
And if anyone wants the recording of this, just email me and you'll see all the chat in the recording. And also in the chat, you can save the chat. If you didn't know how to do this, it's in the chat mechanism where it has the ellipsis with the box around it. You can save the chat of any Zoom you're in, if that option is allowed. Just reach out to me if you want the whole recording, or if you want to share it with someone else. You can ask me questions, ask Lena questions. And I think that wraps it up today for our wellness workshop. Thank you so much for sharing this. I know it's kind of overwhelming. It's a lot of information, especially to someone that doesn't realize the harmful effects of EMFs. But trust me, your clients are going to start asking you about this. So it's good to be knowledgeable. Doesn't mean you have to buy the products for yourself, but to at least be knowledgeable about the language around why people are having some wellness symptoms that they can't explain. Erica? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I've got one. So in the case when our devices are in the flight mode, is there the same amount of radiation being emitted?
No, much less. So if you turn your I can't think of what it's called, airplane mode. So picture you put your phone in a locker. You go to a locker room, like a gym, and you put your phone in your locker and you don't have it on airplane mode and it's looking for the signal, looking for the satellite. It's very active. It's like bing, 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 bing. It's looking for the signal, right? If you turn it off, much less, which is why I encourage my clients to sleep with their phones on airplane mode because their alarms still work. But this is I don't know like what percentage this would be, but this would be like protecting yourself on steroids versus just doing airplane mode. It's absolutely effective to put your phone on airplane mode, but it does not protect you the way that these EMF shields do.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, my phone is quite important for me, unfortunately. And I often have earphones in my ears listening to audiobooks. So audiobooks still work when I'm offline, you know. So that's something to consider as well, I guess.
Yeah, one great tip for clients is just unplug everything. You know, if you're not using a blender, unplug the blender. We can't unplug our refrigerators, but we can unplug everything else. And you can unplug your lamps, right? If your outlet is plugged in with something plugged into it, it is emitting more EMF than if it wasn't. So unplug everything, especially in babies' rooms, you know, with these mobiles and these radios and these lights and all these things that we put in babies' rooms. They don't even know that it's nighttime, not to mention the EMFs that they are, you know, experiencing. And this is with ergonomics at work. People are told to put themselves at arm's length away from their monitor. This is why, because of the EMFs. So if you don't know what EMFs are, please Google that, electromagnetic fields. They're all around us. And so this is helping us, you know, the reality of our world is that we do have a lot of electronics around us. So this can help us manage the effects of that. We're not going to totally eliminate cell phones and electricity and all that, but what we can do is help protect ourselves. So Erica's asking about Fitbits versus, I'm assuming like something in your ear versus something in on your body. What do you think about that, Lena?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anything, you know, smart devices, same as the Bluetooth headphones. That's why I threw my sons away. I'm like, you're not using them, dude. Just, you know, just normal watch. Just, I mean, I understand we've got to live in the real world. So just, you know, the thing is, if you're not EMF sensitive, you feel great, you don't feel tired, well, you know, it's your call really. But I think just taking precaution, you can't avoid everything. Just got to make a call really, just going to be sensible.
One thing that I've noticed with my clients lately is their concerns about homeschooling from home on screens. So, for example, here in Nashville in Tennessee in the US, my grandson who is in kindergarten, he's on a screen doing virtual homeschooling with his teacher who's in the classroom. He's on a screen for 3 hours in a row, right when he wakes up. And my grandson also has autism. So it's been a real challenge for my daughter to, you know, this is not ideal for anyone, but sometimes there's a reality of we have to be on a screen, you know, what kind of screen are we going to use? How far away is it going to be? So, you know, sometimes we have to be on our phone. And if we're going to, for work or for coaching someone, be on a tablet, a phone, a Zoom, on your laptop or your desktop. This is a reality of coaching. We coach anywhere in the world, from anywhere in the world. And as a coach, we are moving more to video. We are moving more to online work. And we've been telecoaching longer than therapists have been doing teletherapy, telemedicine, telehealth. All that is now catching up with us. And if you're coaching and you have a global audience, you are going to be on a device. So please just educate yourself for your own benefit. And you certainly may have questions from your clients. Even if you're not a wellness coach, they may ask you about this. They might talk about headaches and they're having trouble sleeping. And you might not want to speak about the physical body, but this can be a resource that you can share with them. You know, even if it's the earthing movie that you share, even if it's Dr. Joe Dispenza's website, things like that are resourceful for our clients, and you want to serve as a resource. Okay, we're just about to wrap up. Any last question? Yeah, I like, you know, Erica, yes, it can be really scary, especially for our clients, but I think this is one of the things that can empower us. And, you know, we don't have control over everything, but hey, we can at least do this, you know, to try to prevent any harms that are being done beyond our control. Yeah, so Lena just put in her number, 165393, if you're on the website looking for a number, but please just reach out to her email, Facebook Messenger, if you're trying to order some products and you're having some difficulty. Okay, thank you so much, Lena. This has been very helpful, and thank you for being willing to allow us to reach out to you if we have questions.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting up with me.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Honduras. Bye, California. Bye, Kentucky. Bye, Belgium. Bye, Iowa. Bye, New Mexico. Bye, Texas. Bye, Tennessee. See you soon.